Amy Posner here with today's topic, which is the sales call, or perhaps you call it the discovery call, the initial call that happens with a prospect when you're in the process of discussing a project and finding out whether you have a fit. Now, typically, this call happens after you've done some vetting by email, right? They've made an inquiry, you've exchanged a couple of emails about what they're looking for specifically, mostly to get a sense of alignment. Is a kind of project you'd be interested in? Is a timeline you could work with? Any of this sort of basic things that frame a project that tell you, yeah, I want to take next steps. So if you do, and you get on that call, you want to control it right from the very beginning. I mean, literally, you want to control the small talk and the segue off small talk. So, these calls always start with, like, hey, how you doing? And where are you? Or what's the weather like? Whatever little chit chat you do, after a minute or so, it's up to you to shut it down and say something like, I want to respect your time. And I see we're 2 minutes after the hour. I'd like to switch to talking about the project. Does that work for you? You always get buy-in all along the way. You're asking questions and getting buy-in. So they're agreeing, because if they're agreeing, not only are you habituating them to say yes, but you're sort of opening the path for them to follow you down without any resistance. So you ask them if they're, if that's okay, and they say yes. And so then you lay out the agenda for the call. It's real simple. You say something like, and plan this, prepare this, and practice it. So you say, so here's what I'd like to do. I've got some questions I want to ask you about the project to ascertain, what's going on, why this project, why now, and what success would look like. What's your timeline? What are the KPIs for this project? The genesis of what you're doing right now and why we're on the call. And then after that, of course, you can ask me questions, any questions about what we've talked about or about my processes. Then we'll see if we think at that point we have enough of a fit to take next steps. Does that sound right to you? Does that sound good to you? Again, you're getting buy-in, and it does two things. It does what I said. It moves them along this trajectory of saying yes. It has them agreeing so that they're more open-minded. It also lays out an agenda, and it makes it very clear to them what's going to happen on the call. Here's the thing. This is a big overall fact to just know and accept and sort of embrace, I guess. Experts get paid more. If you can perform strategy and execution, and you can demonstrate that on this initial call, you instantly have more value and credibility in the client's eyes. It's just a fact. It's just the way it is. And they may not know that they're looking for that, but when they see it, they're impressed every single time. You may be wondering, well, can I do strategy? Am I a strategist? Every copywriter is a strategist to some extent, because what happens is people bring us challenges. I need more customers. I need to fill seats. I need to sell my course. Whatever outcome they're after, that's the strategy that we figure out, right? How am I going to get you there? What am I going to do? What are we going to create? And so when you demonstrate that on the call, you've just set yourself up as a consultant. You've set yourself up for more respect and higher pay. So it's very important that you ask these questions. And I'll tell you something that's a little funny. When you're brand new, or when you're newer at copywriting and you're on these calls, you tend to think that asking questions makes you look like you don't know stuff. And what you find out later is asking questions makes you look really confident and really intelligent. And it's funny because people would come to me, back in the day, and they'd want a funnel, and I'd be like, okay, and I'd go along. And then I found out my idea of a funnel and their idea of a funnel were totally different when it came to deliverables and what we were actually discussing. It's important to know if you're on the same page. The best thing to do is create a list of questions for the call, things that you absolutely want answered. And don't hesitate thinking that, you're going to be taking up too much of their time, or they don't want to answer deep questions. They love talking about their business. They'll be really, really happy to give you the time and to give you the information. Because honestly, if you land the project, which you're more likely to do using this method, you're going to have great information that you can use. I've had some really great big ideas come from something that they told me that was just some buried little fact that turned out to be a really potent story for their audience. So try this out. Write down some questions. Even if you're a little bit nervous about, being the boss in this situation, I encourage you to just try it, even if all you do is segue off the small talk. Just that one thing alone can put you in the driver's seat. Because if you're in the position where they're saying, okay, well, let's get down to it. Now you're like, you're a little flustered. Like, what do I do? You can pick up the ball right there and run with it, but it's better if you're running with the ball first and leading. That's it for today. If you like what you heard and you want to be notified when other episodes come out, hit the bell and subscribe. And please leave me your questions in the comments. I'd be happy to make a video response. All right, catch you next time.